So I'm going to give you a quick run through of how to get a Orvibo smart Wi-Fi plug working with SmartThings. The reason I made the integration with these is because it's actually they're really cheap compared to all of the rest of the Wi-Fi plugs. So as you can see on Amazon, they're like $19.99 at the moment, so really cheap. The connection between them is done via a NodeJS server. That's just because the Orvibo plugs use UDP, and again, that's not compatible with SmartThings at the moment. But I've already done this with Lightwave RF, with my Lightwave RF setup. So I already had the majority of the code there, so it's a very easy thing to do. Basically, for me, I run it off a Raspberry Pi, which is here. But you can run it on Ubuntu or Debian or any of the Linux operating systems. You can even run it on Windows. I'm not going to cover that in the tutorial. I'm also not going to cover the initial install of the operating system. Realistically, there's so many good tutorials online that I won't be able to add to that. So basically, you should come to a screen like this if you're running Debian, or maybe even like this if you're on a Raspberry Pi. So what we need to do is we need to get to the console, or even terminal, sorry. Cool, so just type in terminal there, and we should get this screen. Now, for what we need to do, we're going to want root user privileges. So on Debian, you'd type su, and then you'd have to type in your root user password, which you usually do at the setup of the operating system. For me, it's 123. If you're on a Raspberry Pi, the default user, once you've installed Raspbian on a Raspberry Pi, is Pi, and the password is Raspberry. We can skip the whole password section, or having to type in your password, by typing sudo su. There you go. I'm the root user on that now. So that's what we need. So first things first, I'm going to do it all on this screen, and then so we can forget about this one for the moment. And I'll just close that because that's annoying. Right, what we need to do is we need to make a var www directory if we haven't already got one. /var www. I've typed that in wrong, sorry. So mkdir /var /www. File exists. Okay, so it already exists, so that's fine. So now I need to cd to that directory. So cd /var /www. And I'll list what's in there. So there's nothing in there at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a directory for my Orvibo server, which I'm going to call, I'm going to do make directory again, and I'm going to call it Orvibo. Right, and then I'm going to go into the Orvibo directory by typing cd space orvibo. Cool. And then you can see that just here that I'm in the Orvibo directory now. If I do ls, then you'll see that's empty as well. So we need to install some basic programs here now. So what we're going to type is we're going to type apt-get install node. We're going to type nodejs hyphen legacy npm and git. Yeah, and then we're going to hit enter. And you'll see here that all of mine are actually already up to date here. Git is already the newest version. Node.js is already the newest version. Node.js Legacy and the npm of all the newest versions. What you'll probably get, if you haven't installed this already, you'll get a thing saying, do you want to install? It'll be take up this many megabytes of space. Hit Y to continue, and then hit enter. So you do that. It'll probably take around 5 minutes, and then it'll be installed. So now what we want to do is we want to go to my Git repository, and then we want to clone my code from my Git repository onto this computer. So in Google, we want to type Adam Clark -dev. And that should bring you up with my GitHub account here. So if we open that up, and then we click repositories, what you should see is SmartThings Orvibo server. So we'll click on that, and then we'll get this URL just here. Copy that with Control C. And we will type in on here git clone, and then paste in the address that I've just got, and then put a dot after. What the dot means is that will then be pasted into the current directory. So we hit enter, and cool. The repository should now be there. So the code you can see on here matches the code in here. Now let's just close this browser window because we don't need this anymore. Okay, so next things next, we want to install Forever and Forever Service. What these will do is it will mean if the server crashes for any reason, it will restart it. And if the computer crashes, then it will restart the server. This means that we can stick the Raspberry Pi in the cupboard, not connected to a TV or mouse or anything like that, and it will just work. So yeah, cool, let's install those. So let's do npm install forever -g. Cool, and now that's installed, let's type in npm install forever -service -g. Cool, so that's all installed. Next, we want to type, you won't have to do this actually, so don't copy this bit, because I'll move this into the code in the repository, but I've forgotten to do it so far. So npm install the reason I'm just going to do this now is just because on one of the packages, the version is deprecated. I will put this in the package.json, so it will automatically update anyway for you. So just, yeah, as I said, ignore it. Cool, and then if we type npm install, this will install all the other packages. It's using a connector that someone else has written to connect to Orvibo and send commands, which is really fantastic. It means very little work has actually had to be done to get this up and running. Cool, so that's all installed. Let's just have a look. Okay, so now we want to install the server here as a service. So let me just get the instructions for this because I can never remember them. Forever service. Okay, that's what we need to do. So forever service install. This is called Orvibo. And then hyphen script. And then server.js. What have I done wrong? Right. I've just got the hyphen missing here. So we do that again. Yeah, cool. That's working now. Cool. So our service, should be running now. So if we type service Orvibo start. Cool. The service should definitely be running. And we can double check that that's running by typing forever list. And we'll see that process running here. And if you want to see the log for that process, we can just copy and paste. Bloody hell. So we can just copy and paste this file, the var log or vibo.log, and we can see the end of the log. So we type var log or vibo.log. And there you go, you can just see the server is running. What tail does it say is it gives you the last couple of lines of what was written to this log. So it's quite useful rather than viewing an entire log file. The last thing we need to do on the server is type in ifconfig. And we'll get the IP address of our server here. I'm not actually going to use this IP address because I've got the one on my actual Raspberry Pi here, which I'm going to use, but I've just gone through exactly the same process. So I'll close this because it's a bit slow and I don't need it anymore. And then on my server, we'll just type ifconfig. Cool, and you can see this is what the address will look like a lot more on your network, which is probably something like 192.168.0.11. I'll copy that. And now in a browser on another computer, what you need to do by this point is have any devices that you want connected already connected. If you disconnect any of the devices, then you'll have to go onto your server here and type service Orvibo restart, and that will restart the service. Generally, then we'll go through all of the plug sockets, all the Orvibo plug sockets in your house, and it will start getting them again. So if we copy and paste that IP address into a browser here, and then we put /devices, it will do nothing. What is going on there then? Okay, sorry. You need to put the port as well, which is the port is 8001, the /devices. And that will list the devices connected on my network. So you can see I've got one of these plugged in. And what we're going to need for the next step is the MAC address. And that's really it. So the next thing to do is go to the SmartThings API, which is graph.api.smartthings.com. And we're going to have to log in with our username. For me, it's actually here. Log in. Because I'm based in the UK, I have to click My Hubs. Actually, no, sorry, I have to click My Locations. And log in again. And as you can see in the address bar here, I'm now on the EU graph. So next thing I need to do is create a device handler. As you can see, I've already got one here for me, Orvibo on off device, but I'll make another one for the sake of it. And what I need to do is I need to go to Adam Clark Dev again, which is my GitHub repo. Click repositories, click SmartThings Orvibo node server, and click Orvibo device.groovy. Then click raw, copy and paste this from here into to the device handlers. So we go create a new device handler. We do from code, copy and paste that in. You don't need to copy this bit, but I'm just going to put it this is on-off device 2 because I've already got the device set up. You don't need to do that at all. So cool, create, and then click save, and then publish for me. Cool. So you can always go when you plug in new devices. You can always go back to this list. So you can always just refresh it, and that will always list the devices that are connected. What you now need to do is you need to go My Devices and go New Device, and we'll call this I don't know, Kitchen Switch. Give it a random network name. So let's call it Kitchen Switch 01. The type, we're going to scroll down to the bottom of the list and we should have Orvibo on off device 2, or for you, Orvibo on off device. Location is your home location, hub is your home hub, and then we'll click create. So then we'll then scroll down the list, click edit, and you'll have two fields that you need to fill in, the node server IP address and the device MAC address. The node server IP address is the address you got earlier by typing ifconfig. It's also the address in here. You don't need the port, so let's just copy that and paste that in there. We don't need the HTTP, so it just needs to be just the IP address. And then the MAC address, if we go back to this list, we just need the MAC address from there without the comments around it. So then we go back here, we type in paste in the IP address there, click save, and once that's saved, that basically you'll be able to open your SmartThings app, and that device will be showing in your SmartThings app. You can do the same for multiple devices. So if you want to create another device, you'll click no new device and then go through the same process we've gone through, except with another IP address from this list. And this list, as I said, will populate with all of the IP addresses just by clicking refresh. And you'll always be able to go to it. So there you go. I hope you enjoy. Cheers.